All right, good morning once again. We're going to finish out this snake game today. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to post the code for the actual gameplay. We've already built a body part, okay? So that allowed us to get one square to kind of move around and do what it needed to do. We built a snake, which had a lot of body parts, and then they all followed each other, and we were able to move it around with the keyboard again. We were able to make a mouse. That's what we did the other day, or just yesterday. And a mouse can get eaten and then show up in another random location. Now it's time to just put it all together in the game. And that's essentially how these things get made. You build all the individual parts and then you kind of have them come together and work together. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a new Python file and I'm just going to call it the snake game. And I am just going to copy and paste into this so that we can get it going a little bit quicker. So first things first, I import snake, which really isn't necessary because I imported mouse and mouse imports snake as well. I also imported the time module. Again, not terribly necessary, but I do have it. I rewrote the get direction function, although you don't need to. It's the same function as before. Okay, so it does exactly the same thing, brings in a window in a current direction, gets the key, changes it to a lowercase word, checks to see what the word is. If the key is up, down, left, or right, it does something. If it doesn't return one of those values, it returns whatever the current direction of the snake was. Now here's the only new function that we really have to worry about is the is eaten. Notice how yesterday I didn't write anything in the mouse or in the snake that told us whether or not we actually ate a mouse. All we did was we coded what happens when it has been eaten. So here's what I have. I kept this function in here because it deals with two different objects. I could have done it in either class. It really wouldn't make a difference. It's just a matter of lining up the head with a mouse. I wrote them so they always happen in the same spot, so it works out pretty well. So first thing I did was I just got the body parts list from the snake get parts. I said if the mouse's x coordinate is equal to the body parts, the head at 0, x coordinate, and the mouse's y was equal to the head's y coordinate, then it simply returned true. Otherwise, it returned false. Okay, notice there's no else here, so I always have to hit that return statement. Okay, so if you need to, pause the video and get these functions kind of brought in. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to run the actual main method. Okay. All right, now that you've got these methods taken care of, we're going to talk about the actual gameplay. Notice the gameplay is relatively short because we coded out all the actions in the other classes and the other files. I created a window. Okay, it's a snake game. I created a snake and I created a mouse. I drew the snake and I drew the mouse. Okay, once they're on the screen, then I can start getting into the game. Here's my loop. Your game is always going to be based on some sort of while loop. This condition is going to tell us to keep going while the game should be played. I'm going to keep playing my game while my snake is alive. So while snake.alive is true, okay, I'm going to get a direction from the keyboard using that get direction function the same way we have. I'm going to tell the snake to move. Okay. Then after the snake moves, I need to figure out if a mouse has been eaten. So I call the is eaten function. I pass in the mouse and the snake, and it will be able to identify whether or not the head overlapped with the mouse. And if it did, then I do these three things. If it didn't, then I don't do them and I just move the snake again. But if it did, I tell the mouse to get eaten and I tell the snake to append a body part. I also printed the number of points that I have, which remember is just that static field from the mouse class is mice eaten. And then I have this time.sleep. Now, if this were a different circumstance and I was in class with you, I would probably work my way around not using a time.sleep. I like having these loops run as fast as possible, and I would do something else to control how often these things happen because I would like to be able to get this direction as fast as possible. But in the essence of time and the things that we have going on currently this semester, this is a nice, elegant, and very simple solution, just having the program pause for 1/10 of a second to work our way through. So go ahead, pause the video, get this on there, okay? And once you have it on there, unpause and you can play it. So go ahead, pause. And now that you're back with me, let's give it a play and see what happens. So here's my snake. It goes around. I'm using the arrow keys to kind of move as soon as I overlap with one. And you can kind of see right below in the bottom left-hand corner, it sees that 1, 2, 3 in the console. Those are how many mice I've eaten. Now, a little adaptation to this game, if we had more time, we could build like a scoreboard at the top and have it print out what our score is. Maybe we have a little game over screen saying, hey, we scored X number of points, or maybe we have a little intro screen that shows, the directions for the game or whatever it might be. But I've got a nice little elegant game here. And again, it ends, the window closes as soon as my snake is no longer alive. So again, if you need it, go up to the top here, pause the video. You can get these two functions written in. And then when you come back, you can pause the video again right here and code your main, and you should have a working snake game. So go ahead and you can upload your test file to the assignment as you've copied it in, and you should have your working piece. Now that you've done that, just finish this out real quick. We're going to start working on your game. And so in the next few things that you're going to see pop up in Google Classroom are going to be the documents that you're going to need in order to create your game. You'll be writing goal sheets for me essentially every week and getting things started for yourself. But the very first assignment you need to do and what you need to figure out tonight is what your game is, and pass me or answer the question in Google Classroom as to what game you're going to make. And if it's something that's completely unique, give me a short kind of explanation of what it's going to be. If you're recreating something that already exists, maybe you can find it online and just show me a video of it being done, or if you can find the actual game so that I can play it, like on Cool Math or whatever website you want, pass me a link to it. But give me something that lets me know what the game is. Of course, if it's something that is fairly simple, like a game of memory, you probably don't have to do that. Or if it's a game of, tic-tac-toe or whatever it may be, I know what those games are. But if it's something that's a little bit off where I may not know what it is, please send me some information as to what the game is and how it gets played. That way I have a better idea of how to help you. So as soon as I'm kind of back on my feet here, literally speaking, hopefully I'll be back in class and helping you out. But if I am working from home, or if I'm just answering things via Discord and email, it's really going to be helpful for me to know what it is you're making as you're kind of going through it. So each week you'll have something to kind of turn in and show me what progress you've made. And that's kind of how you're going to get scored throughout this project and throughout this process. Okay, but we'll talk more about that in the upcoming assignments and videos and things of that nature. So finish this up, get it turned in, and now it's time to start working on your game.